I mistakenly kissed the wrong person at a ball. Not just any werewolf, but the powerful alpha. Prologue. The legends say that long ago the moon and the sun shared the sky. As time passed, men started cherishing and praying to the moon, and to reward them she gave them powers. To become stronger they transformed into wolves. So the men prayed even more. One day the jealous sun in the sky decided to create his own wolf. Stronger than them, faster than them, and immortal. To be feared by all. Controlled by the sun, the wolf destroyed everything and spread despair among the beasts. It shone brightly everywhere it went, but brought shadows and darkness with it. Even the moon couldn't shine upon. To punish the sun and the beast he created, the moon placed a curse upon the wolf. No matter how long it took and how hard the wolf tried, it would never find its mate. It would be cursed to spend its eternal life alone. I have been roaming around the earth for centuries now, alone and empty inside. I'm a wolf, but everywhere I go, no one accepts me and I don't belong anywhere. When cursed, I am feared, and even though time has passed and legends have faded, even though nobody else remembers who I am, their instincts stay the same and no one dares to get closer. The murmur of my black Chevrolet makes me purr. My fingers glide delicately along the leather of the steering wheel. My heart beats steadily. My gaze falls on the 3 cars around me. Today might not be as easy as I thought. The red Mazda RX-7 in front of me, and the white and black GT40 and yellow Nissan GT, or a 35 on each side of my car, could make for some competition. This should be fun. I have no intention to lose. Today's reward is way too interesting to let it pass. 5 grand. Well, actually, I don't really need the money, being as old as I am. Sadly, I've had time to save up enough for a lifetime or two. I'm here for the adrenaline. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. The danger. I don't remember how many times my cars went flying at the road, with me bleeding and laughing like a crazy person, only waiting for the next rush. A shrink would say I seek the attention of my father. Let's just call him Creator, shall we? Up in the sky I'm sure he can see just fine. If only he cared. A bimbo in a tight shirt and a miniskirt walks ahead with a flag. I roll my eyes. They watch too many movies. Still, my grip tightens. My foot at the ready on the pedal. My stare concentrating solely on the girl. She brings the flags adaptively above her head, looking at the red car in front of me. That's a nice car. Been there, done that. I choose my Chevrolet every time over it though. For a second I wonder who's inside. The moment passes and I forget all about it when she quickly and swiftly splits the air in front of her with the flag. My foot crashes on the pedal and I'm propelled against my seat, feeling the power of the motor in every fiber of my being. My car roars to life around me, and I'm soaring through the vehicles. Fast like the predator I am. I can see my eyes shining brightly in the rearview mirror from the excitement as I turn at the curve on the road and sneak between the GT40 and the Nissan GT-R. I can hear them curse with my enhanced ears but pay them no mind. So losers. I concentrate on the last car before me. I quickly change gears to speed up. Now glued to its rear. Maybe it'll intimidate him. The car speeds up. Well then, I slide to the right trying to overtake him. Not happening. I hear his low voice from my seat as he positions his car in my way. He wants to play. Nice. He's in for the surprise of his life. I try to estimate how much time's left. 2 right turns and 1 left before the finish line. I try to sneak to his left but he gets in my way again. He thinks he can keep this up until the end. I start slaloming from left to right, still increasing my pace. We turn to time and he's still in front of me. The red of his car, brightly screaming its power. I can almost feel his pride. He thinks he has won already. I can see the last turn ahead. I move to the right and he follows suit. I wait for him to engage in the turn and suddenly slide back on the left before powerfully pulling the handbrake up. The wheels screeching on the road as I'm head-to-head with him. My foot hits the accelerator and the car screams as I speed down to the finishing line, never glancing back, but not missing his frustrated growl. I slow down the car in front of the stands that arranged the race. I try to calm my excitement so that my eyes don't glow anymore. Wolves' eyes usually shine bright yellow, but mine are a deep red in my wolf form. Once again a reminder that I don't belong. I let my long raven hair loose and ruffle it a little before getting out of the car and stroking the metallic vehicle lovingly. Good girl, I whisper. I happily start trotting to the stands where I finally take in the deafening silence around. Usually races get people cheering and excited. And even though I am a rogue, we are allowed to participate. Rogues can set foot into a pack territory if they ask permission to attend events like races, yes. I might have had something to do with it when I suggested it a century ago. At the time packs wanted to develop an unhealthy competition between them, I might have suggested to organize events over a few drinks, explaining that way the packs could keep an eye on the rogues and even spot any possible and interesting addition or threat to their own pack. What better way to know what a rogue is capable of than seeing it firsthand? So really it was a pleasure. Yours truly. As long as they're not seen as a danger for the pack, everything is fine and we can spend some time to cross the territories. I focus on the people around, watching me, fear in their eyes. My frown deepens. Did I do something wrong? Did I speak out loud? Tell me I didn't make an entire monologue out loud. Being alone most of the time, I'm not used to interact with people anymore. And I talk to myself. Not all. Depressing thoughts. I get to the table and stretch my hand in the face of the man. In his 50s. Sitting behind it. I hold people. Something I'll never get to know. Man, this place is depressing me. I better get out before I try to hang myself for the 60th time. Or I could jump over the cliff I spotted 5 minutes from here. But that would do me no good. I'd only get drenched. The man doesn't make a move and I wiggle my fingers in the air. Pay up, I say sweetly, my biggest smile on. I hear steps behind me but decide to ignore it. As long as I don't sense a murderous intent, everything will be fine. You, I hear. I recognize the voice from earlier. The one I associate with the Red Master. That's a nice voice. Yeah. I know. As soon as Roger here gives me my money, I'm out. I say in a cheery tone, eyeing the name tag on the man's chest. His eyes bulge on his face and somebody gasps on my right, but I pretend I didn't hear it. No one's paying a cheater. Oh, that voice. That's loser number one. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing pursuits, enthusiasm. I won fair and square. I reply calmly over my shoulder, smiling at Roger. However, if he doesn't get to it, that might not last. I watch the box by his hands. I'm 90% sure that's where the money is. I could grab it and run for it. We just saw I'm too fast for them. That might work. And if push comes to shove, I'll just wipe this pack out. No remember. No massacre. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Just the fighters then. Damn. Me and my conscience. It's so hard to be good. Suddenly I feel a hand on my arm and the contact disgusts me. It almost burns my skin in an unpleasant way. Get your filthy paw off me before I make you eat it. I purr in a sing-song voice. The underlying threat clear to everyone. The pressure increases instead. Well then. Even my wolf is ready to jump. Let her go, the first voice commands behind me. I still haven't turned around to see their faces. I'm thinking that maybe if I keep on staring at Roger, he will give me the 5 grand I won eventually. But he still doesn't budge. I sigh, exasperated. Roger, dear, as you can see, I'm in a pickle. If you would be so kind as to give me my prize so I can get lost. I wiggle my finger again. Last chance, dude. Move it. His eyes roam my face before looking over my shoulder for instructions. I'm afraid we can't let that in. Damn, that's really a sexy voice. Why? Because you got your ass kicked by a girl, I joke. Careful, rogue. He wounds. I feel it now. The power behind the voice. The respect it demands. But I'm not scared. Sadly, I can get hurt. But time numbed my feelings. So whatever they do to me won't be as bad as they'd like. I'm the monster. The nightmare in their dreams. Eventually I'll become their end. Call me death. I giggle at my own joke. I think I might be going crazy. At least that's what the wide eyes around me are implying. I feel the powerful being getting closer, the heat of his skin radiating on my back. That's nice. And I smell his wooded scent. That's even better. I close my eyes to concentrate. Musk. Kine. Elagina sebin ei. Look, I'm not saying we won't pay you. But first you'll have to answer some questions. Like, how a roguelike you could get that car. Loser number to interjects. I'm sure she stole it. Loser 1 adds. Thank God I've worked on my temperament these last few years, otherwise there are 2 wolves that'd have lost their heads 3 seconds ago. I take a deep breath to calm myself. She's a cheat and a thief. We're not giving her knock. Stupid loser. With a dead, which number 1 argues. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. That's it. Someone's losing his head right now. Too bad. I really worked hard on my control. It's been 15 days since the last one. I guess I'll have to start over again. I smile sadly at Roger, showing him clearly who's wrong here. Before turning around to kill someone. Sorry it had to be that way. I start. I really tried to be nice here, but I'm cut short with what I see. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Less than a meter away from me, standing tall and powerful, is the handsomest man I've ever seen. And hot. Really, really hot. Even my wolf is whistling in my head. I check him out without an ounce of embarrassment. I'm not one to shy away, especially in front of a yummy piece of meat like that. I mean, a man like that. Someone as drool-worthy as this has to be checked out. My eyes travel up his body slowly to his head, where an amused smirk is illuminating his face, which is surrounded by brown hair. Then my stare lands on his eyes and I freeze, and gasp, and wobble. His intense deep green eyes stare back at me, and the eye stare I hear is my wolf screaming mate in my head. No way. I'm telling you. I can feel it. I can feel it too. The bond pulling on me. But I won't admit it. He hasn't moved, still observing me curiously. That's not how a mate reacts. That's weird. Try getting closer. Nope. Come on. Your mate. Our mate is right in front of us. NUHR. Nope. Not happening. I can hear her growl, but I ignore it. I'm not supposed to have a mate. I'm cursed. Alone forever. My brows crease. Still. But he asks, amused. What I try to concentrate. You really try to be nice, but... Right. I'm stuck. My mind in the gutter. Sure. I can't try to be really nice. I hear one of the 2 guys behind him whisper crazy, and focus on that. Right, I was about to rip his head off. I make a move in their direction, but the gorgeous piece of art steps in my way. Threateningly. He must have sensed my intent to kill. I don't really hide it, so anyone attentive enough would notice it. I try to ignore his body in front of me, never looking in his eyes, not wanting to lose my train of thought. And keep moving. Stop. He orders in a growl. Everyone stops breathing. Some of them flinching. Others cowering away. Shoot. He's an alpha. Should have known. I can either do as he says, at least pretend to, because his order doesn't have any effect on me, or I can fight and get to my prey. But I know I won't be able to fight him. Not because I can't, because my entire body doesn't want to. In the second that follows his order, I decide to pretend to cower away from him, taking a step back. My wolf seems conflicted, not used to being given orders and especially not used to following them. But on the other hand, she wants to please our mate. I look at the ground, waiting to hear movement to make my next move. Damn, it's hard to pretend. I disagree with them, but you are a rogue in my territory. So remember your place. He keeps stalking, disgust in his voice. That makes me flinch more than the rest. My mate is disgusted by me. Then anger seeps through me. I don't like being treated that way. Neither does my wolf. Remember your place, Alpha. My wolf growls. I smile. Not mate, but Alpha. Now that's the powerful wolf of the sun that I know. Not a love-struck puppy. Much better. Name, he asks what I inquire. Lost in my thoughts. He sighs exasperated. What's your name? Oh, that. Should I tell him, give him my real name? Only a few people have known my real name over the centuries. But this is my mate asking. Can I lie to my mate? Usually you start by giving yours before asking someone's name. I answer seriously. His jaw tightens. I think he's ticked off, but I don't really care. That's fun to watch. I see his green eyes burn yellow before he closes them and breathes heavily. His breath hitting my skin, and I shudder. Nate Turner. I knew that, of course, since I did a little of research before entering the territory. But it's always good to be reminded. Okay. I admit I spent less than 3 minutes looking up the important members' names and didn't register them. At least I tried. You're right. Hope. I answer nicely. Caught Michael's eye. No. Hilarious. The cursed child of the sun. The beast of destruction. With the name of Hope. A twisted joke, indeed. Hope. I shudder at my name on his tongue. This here is Jared Miller, my beta, and Stephen Williams, one of my best fighters. He informs me. However, to me they'll remain Stupid Loser 1 and Stupider Loser 2. Number 2 wouldn't last 1 minute in a fight with me. The person concerned seems to understand because he takes a step in my direction and I smile brighter. The perfect-looking individual that I now know is named Nate places his hand on number 2's torso. Too bad. I'm sure it would have been fun. Even my wolf is disappointed in the lack of action of today. Packs are no fun anymore. Oh, the good old days. The bloodbaths. The fighters never giving up to the end. The strong, powerful alphas falling to my feet. The weak gazer whimpering in my glory. Best. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Hope. Nate's deep voice pulls me out of my reverie. I ask, adds nestedly. I need you to follow me to the pack house. I tense at his words. Why? I see his glare at my question. Well, what did he expect? Yes, of course, my lord. I'll follow every one of your commands. Puh, Lace. Because as I said earlier, I need you to answer a few questions. I didn't cheat. I didn't steal this car. And I earned the $5,000, so I want them. And then I'd like to leave. I have other things to do than accommodate pricks who lost on the second turn and an egotistical alpha who won't admit he lost to a girl. I respond in a steady voice. I bite my tongue hard when I realize. Once again, I went too far as I hear the whispers around me. There's also the growls of the 3 men in front of me. Okay, maybe insulting the alpha wasn't such a good idea. The other 2 I don't care. You will come with me to the pack house without another word of complaint or I'll rip your tongue out for you. But I'm really not in the mood to go to a pack house. I want to leave. Someone gasps loudly on my left and I look at a young girl. Her eyes bulging out of their sockets. What I turn back to Mr. Alpha, who's in my face with a deadly glare in his eyes. Did you just complain? He whispers so low I think I'm the only one hearing it. Did I speak out loud? Silly me, I smile. Even if he rips my tongue out, it'll grow back. Not the most pleasant feeling, but I'll survive. In a second his hand is on my throat. His upper lip curled up, his canines visible and his eyes are bright yellow. Damn. He's hot when he's angry. The pressure on my neck increases, but I don't react. Only watching him fascinated. My skin buzzing with electricity and heat. His stare flickers to uncertainty faced with my reaction. Or lack of one. I'm not scared in the slightest and he can see it. Maybe he thinks I'm just suicidal. Right, I should be scared. He's an alpha. I widen my eyes and pretend to struggle in his grasp. He loosens it immediately and lets me back on my feet. He watches my neck and I pull at the collar of my shirt knowing there is no bruise where there should be one. He's watching me way too closely for his own good and my sanity. His eyes scrutinizing me make me want to fidget and I don't miss the shadow of lust that crosses his eyes when he checks me out. You're coming with me, he orders with finality, not leaving any room for an answer. 2. Nobody's touching my car, I say for the second time. Louder. Apparently once wasn't enough. No one will steal your stinking car. Suicidal idiot groans. Listen and liftly saw loser number 2. One more comment on my car and you'll lose your head too. I warn him in a deadly tone. He watches me disgusted. Seems he likes me as much as I like him. At least we're on the same page. I hear Nate say beside me. He hands his own keys to the guy before heading towards my passenger's side. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nogan. Heartfelt thanks for your unfading patience, enthusiasm. I'm coming with you. That way everyone keeps their head. I'm about to complain but he sends me a warning glare. His patience wearing thin. I smile smugly at the two idiots and get in the car. I shudder when I close the door and can only smell his scent in mine around us. He's way too close for my comfort. So where to? I ask in an attempt to diverge from the crazy thoughts flying in my head. Like closing the small distance between us and claiming his lips, roaming my hands in his hair or sliding onto his muscular lap. The tension is unbearable. I don't know what he reads in my stare but his eyes show me his lust. After a moment he clears his throat and I watch his Adam's apple move up and down. I lick my lips. We're not far. Just follow the tracks. I nod and start the engine. I drive down the road in silence, glancing in the rearview mirror from time to time to see the other cars following us. You're good, he murmurs. What I ask? Not sure he was actually talking to me. I never thought he would be able to take a turn so tightly. I was persuaded I'd won. I smile with pride. You just need a little practice. I joke. I see I'm not the only one with the big ego. He laughs. The sound is divine in my ears. Even my wolf starts to purr. We arrive in front of a mansion in minutes and I gape at the sight. It's huge, I whistle. I count 3 stories. It's almost as if they added pieces to an already existing small castle. The new and old parts mixing harmoniously together. The gardens are perfectly mowed and there is an imposing fountain in the middle of the place in front of the entrance. Someone's got taste. Dozens of people are scurrying around working. I watch the spectacle impressed. Nate opens his door and I am bombarded with hundreds of different scents. How many people live here? I'm not used to seeing that many people together. Rogues stay alone most of the time, or in pairs when they find their mates. The packs I met in the past were never that important in numbers. I stay cautious as I feel 6 fighters carefully observing me, to hiding in the forest in their wolf form, at the ready for any coming danger. I smile sweetly at the one up the stairs in front of the entrance and he growls. I'm not surprised. Nobody likes rogues. Even rogues don't like rogues. I follow Nate inside, taking my time analyzing my surroundings. The decor is more modern than I thought it would be. With high ceilings, I can see each alphabet is marked, changing it subtly each time. I spot a few artifacts at Chinese vase from the early days of the Ming Dynasty, and ancient tapestry from the 15th century and even African sculpture. Knowing the style and its wood being so old, I'd say it's probably from the 3rd century. Once again I am impressed at what I see. The alpha leads me to a room further in the house in an area less frequented. I can hear his beta already inside an ice smirk. He must have hurried to arrive before us. I enter the room and I'm surprised to find it almost bare. The colors are simple brown, with a huge desk and chairs on each side of it on the left, and a white couch with a table in front on the right. Mate sits down behind the desk and invites me to take a seat in front of him with a wave of his hand, his beta standing at his side glaring at me. I think he wants to intimidate me by showing me the power emanating from him, but he's only a beta. A fly under my shoe. My smirk is still embedded on my face as I stare at him, wondering how much I need to push to make him lose it. So, hope. Mate starts. I ignore him, still concentrated on dumb number 1. I realized I have more control over myself if I don't stare at the beautiful emerald eyes of my supposed mate. I'm still not sure about that one. From what I've seen, a mate wouldn't be able to keep his hands off me. I can feel the bond pulling me to him, making me crave his touch, but it's as if the bond isn't reciprocated. Could it be that he's my mate, but I'm not his all? Such a twisted, endless curse. I sigh loudly, fixing the beta of the pack. Damn, I'm parched. Can you bring me some water? I request as if I had a butler in front of me instead, raising a brow, demanding. He growls at me, his hands trembling at his sides as he tries to restrain himself. I wouldn't give you a drop if you were dying. Come on, Scooby. Bring water to Mama. I quit taping my leg softly. His glare intensifies if it's even possible, and I hear Nate clear his throat. I look at him from the corner of my eyes, as does Beta. But both our bodies are still facing each other, ready to fight. My skin hums in anticipation. Oh, please. Nobody is saying you don't deserve your prize. His mesmerizing voice tells me I am his second interject. I nod, impressed. At least he's being frank. That's to be expected from someone who arrived. What? Fifth I taunt. Fourth he grits. Oh, poor thing. Not even on the podium. He takes an involuntary step and my muscles tense. Just a little more. So, as I was saying, Nate starts back, attempting to control the conversation. We'll just ask you a few questions. I listen to his low and sexy voice. It's really hard to stay concentrated when a seductive alpha is talking to you in a tone rising out of patience. Say, Droopy, how about you go take a nap? I smile devilishly. I'm having a lot of fun. It's been a while since I interacted that much with someone. How about you shut up, Lafayette? And he can respond. Sing. He even knows his classics. Nate's hands shoot to his hair and he starts to grip at it. I want to do the same. I wonder how soft his hair will feel on my fingers. Jared. He orders, exasperated lie. His right rant and plan. You should listen to your master. I continue without a care in the world. Yo, Pluto. How about I teach you some manners? Jared bites back. I can't help laughing out. Nate yells suddenly. Finally, I stand up to leave but halt in my step when I hear him continue. Hope. Your stay. Jared out. He says threateningly. Unbelievable, I hear the beta mumble under his breath before exiting the room. Right. I'm the one who wants to get out. I sit back down pouting. What now? It's going to be difficult to avoid looking at him if we're alone. He picks up a piece of paper and a pen on his desk. Name, I roll my eyes. Name, he repeats in an order. It's not as if he already knows it right and Raider. I answer as seriously as I can. I see him start scribbling down before he stops abruptly, his jaw twitching. Tomb. T-O-M-B. To my agent extraordinaire, Mylan Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfading patience, enthusiasm. R-I-D-E-R, I spell for him as if his only problem is the orthography of the name. I even tap the paper with my index to add some effect to it, telling him to write it down. His eyes glow yellow and I'm already thinking about how to keep them glowing. I see him scribble Hope Michaels in refined cursive. See, why did you need to ask then? Age, he continues, are the big question. I don't count the passing years anymore. I mean, there wasn't even a calendar when I was created. 25. I answer a half-truth. I stopped aging at 25. Wolves live longer lives than humans. We all stop aging at 25 because this is the age where we're the most powerful, completely grown, in control of our capacities. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfading patience, enthusiasm. An old body would only slow us down. And then, after a long life, we start aging again. However, I never did. What? I inquire as I see Nate looking at me amused. You're older than me, then show some respect, pup. I'm 24, he feels the need to precise. I relax in my chair. Still a pup. I shrug. My God. 24, it's as if he were born yesterday. I can assure you nothing about me is anything but of a man. He says seductively, his eyes lustful. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I'm undressing him right now to check it for myself. He concentrates back on the task at hand and I tense. Old pack, he requests next. Wiped out. Liar. Liar. Carts on fire. Still. I need the name. Don't remember. He sighs but continues. However, I'm sure he'll ask again later. Family. None you. He seems taken aback by my question. Am I not supposed to ask questions killed by rogues? He tells me eventually in a quiet voice. I can feel his sadness mixed with anger. I nod silently. Nothing I'd say would help. But I get why he doesn't like rogues. And if the last alpha was killed by them, I understand their hatred for me. The silence stretches before he regains his focus. Where do you live? I'm a rogue. I don't stay in one place. He raises his brow to challenge me to deny that I have some place of my own. I roll my eyes at his tenacity. Manhattan. New York is one of the rare cities not belonging to any pack. A place where meetings of different packs can occur. As Las Vegas, Miami and Chicago. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbe, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I might have had something to do with it too. Nate's brows raise further in surprise. What are you doing so far west? I travel a lot to race. Is that what you do for a living? That's a nice life. I can hear the mockery in his tone and the yearning to be free of responsibilities now. I'm a translator. I correct him. Really, he asks, impressed. How many languages do you speak? A few, right? I talk almost all languages. Even the dead ones like ancient Greek and Latin. And the ancient versions of Gaelic and German. I only have difficulties with the numerous Africanized languages. I didn't have the time to study them correctly. Nate nods and writes down on his paper again. Allergies. I need to give instructions for tonight's diner. He clarifies when he sees my shocked expression. I'm not eating here. I answer simply. Yes, you are. No, there's a race in today's up north. I gotta go. His grip tightens on his pen and the glowing eyes are back, enhanced by his tense jaws. You are not leaving before I say so. Otherwise it'll be by foot. I gasp. He would take my baby hostage, the vile creature. Allergies. He tries again. Egocistic L puppies. His eyes shoot to mine, full of warning. I can feel the tension in the room, the power emanating from him, and I marvel in it. The electricity grazes possessively my skin. Even the growl in his throat makes me shudder in pleasure. The moment is broken when the door flies open without warning, letting a woman enter. She's beautiful and elegant, but I think she would look even better with less makeup on her face. Her blonde hair tied tightly in an elegant bun, and her blue eyes shining as they fall on him. Is she his mate? My heart breaks at the thought. No, he is our mate. My wolf growls. Mate. Her voice drools sickeningly. Her perfumes hits my senses and I flinch. She crosses the room quickly and throws herself on his lap, her arms wrapping around his neck. My canines elongate in my mouth and I close my eyes before they can see them shine red. My claws stretch into the armless leather of the chair as the girl shows him her enormous cleavage. This is insane. I can't be affected that much. I was looking for you everywhere, she continues, ignoring my presence. Maybe I should leave and give them some privacy. Also, I'm not sure how much longer I'll be able to refrain myself from tearing her head off and throwing her limp body through the window. My gaze meets Nate's. He's watching me, not missing a beat, an indescribable expression on. Did he seem our internal banter? Baby, you said you would come see me after your race. She coos and I feel the bile rise in my throat. Nate is still looking at me, ignoring her while her hands are slowly grazing down his stomach and disappearing under the desk where my eyes can't follow. I want to rip them off of him and place my own hands in their place. Feel his strong muscles under my fingers. He sifts in his chair and I in his stare as he watches me. I feel hot suddenly. He grasps at her arms to stop them from moving down and bring them back on the desk. He finally looks at her and I miss his green eyes on me. Yes, and Corey. I need to finish some papers. I'll come as soon as I'm finished. Don't take too much time. She pouts sweetly. I won't. He smiles at her before she gets up and leaves the room, but not before sending her most threatening glare my way as a warning not to touch what's hers. When she's gone, we avoid each other's stare and comfortably. I look at my hands, concentrating on the traits marking them. Nice mate. She's beautiful. I try to say enthusiastically what I'm screaming inside. She's not my mate. My head shoots up. She's just. I haven't found my mate yet. He adds awkwardly. Oh. I swallow with difficulty. That's bad. Now I have thousands of ideas crossing my mind involving the both of us. Without clothes, in a bed preferably. He fixes the papers in his hands. remembering why we're here in the first place. So no allergies. No, I mumble distractedly. Color of the wolf, maybe we can retrace your origins from it. He explains, spirited lie. Brown, and here I go again. Another lie. You, I ask, intrigued. What do you think he taunts me? I guess black. I shrug. Most AP has are. I'm not most alphas. I think for a second. Grey-white, he answers with pride. My eyes widen. That's rare. The legends say that only the most powerful wolves are granted the white fur. Nate Turner. You are full of surprises. I say to taste his name on my tongue. I see him shudder surreptitiously. Suddenly I am reminded of another legend. I heard somewhere that the white wolf has a full moon as a mark. The mark of the moon is a crescent moon somewhere on the wolf's body. It varies from one wolf to the other. Once the wolf finds his mate, the mark is completed with the other half. However, as always, I'm a little different, since I am the child of the sun. Instead of a moon, I have a small sun drawn over my breast. Of course, because the sun is prideful, he wanted his mark seen, and put it somewhere everyone could see. Since then, some genius invented makeup and I can mask it. 50 years ago, I even built an altar in his name. I can also hide it with a shirt since I don't have to wear a dress with a corset. I start searching his body with my eyes as if I try hard enough, I'll be able to see through his cloths. Or I could just take them off. You heard about that. How even my pack doesn't know about that. I think Corey's aware. I joke bitterly. He looks away. Touchy subject. Noted. Brown isn't bad either. He tries to change the subject. It's the most common color for wolves. The darker they get, the stronger they are. And then there's white. And then there's yellow. You don't need to try to make me feel better about it. I like my fur. Sometimes it's better to be like everybody else. At first the pack didn't really accept me. They didn't know about white wolves. They still don't. Not really. So, do you shine in the dark? I joke to lighten the mood. A huge and amazing smile splits his face and my heart stops. I remember to breathe only when my lungs start to burn. The phone rings on his desk and he picks it up. Yes, I watch him listen intently to the call. He puts his hand on the object to muffle the sound. Look, I need to take this. Someone will bring you to a room we arranged for you and I'll see you later for dinner. I look at him amused. I could easily leave and no one would be able to stop me, but I want to observe him a little longer and learn more about him. Sure. I nod and leave the room. 3. A young and timid girl leads me to my quarters. I pry her name away with a lot of efforts. Charlotte. She's tall and slim with almond green eyes and ginger hair. The room is nice. Bigger than my last apartment. Well, sure. I've got 1 or 2 villas in Europe, but it's been years since I went there. Too many memories. Plus, I never stay long in the same place, so I don't need that much. The room is heavily decorated with its own bathroom at the back. Nothing. No detail makes the place personal. But the silky sheets seem inviting. I need to get to my car to grab my bag of cloths, but I have a feeling I'm not allowed to leave the room. I could go from the window. I'm currently 2 stories high. Easy peasy. I can see the back of the house from there and the forest spreading further down. There are at least 7 fighting grounds with the sandy floor scattered at the back of the mansion. I didn't notice them when we arrived. A few fighters are training right now and I spent some time observing them. Not bad, but could be better. Still, I can see some really powerful wolves. In times of war, I might have selected them for my army. Let's see how careful they are. Discreetly, as quietly as I can, I open my window and listen to the wind. It's blowing in my direction so they can't pick up on my scent. In a swift movement, I sway on the edge of the bricks and with the power of my arms hoist myself onto the roof. Once on the other side, I quickly locate my car. There is no one around, but I can sense the wolves in the forest. I sneak in the shadows without noise. As soon as I am in my car, I hesitate. I could just go. The road is in front of me, and the time for them to react, it will be too late. I caress the steering wheel and breathe in the lingering scent of Nate. That's what makes me exit the car and go back inside, following the same path as before. I climb the front stairs, tightening my hold on the handle of the bag in my back. I'm about to take a leap to the second floor when I see a shadow move on the third floor and turn towards it. To my agent extraordinaire, Myron Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Leaning against the window frame, mate stands in all his glory. I smirk and keep going. When the time for dinner arrives, Charlotte comes back to my room and brings me to an insanely big dining hall. I took a long shower to loosen my strained muscles and changed my clothes, deciding to stay simple with jeans and a black shirt. My red sneakers the only piece of color. The room is festive and full of joy. The pups are running around, playing between the table while the adults discuss animatedly. A few watch me enter but most ignore me entirely. I take a plate and raid the buffet. Salad, mashed potatoes, chicken wings, tomatoes, pasta. They even have an Asiatic section, so I take a second plate to fill it with sushi, maki, miso soup, rice, nems and tempura. What I have a fast metabolism. I choose a seat in a corner with an empty table. I like it better when I can see the enemies come. I let my eyes travel around the room. I don't like packs. That many people in the same place is dangerous. They can be wiped out in seconds and be none the wiser. There are too many innocent and weak pups. If too many rogues got in, there would be a bloodbath and the fighters wouldn't be able to save everyone. Kill the weak and innocents and they give up fighting. Rogues are sneaky. They don't have the pride of the fighters of a pack. They kill everyone, without a glance back. I'm finishing my plates when a small boy comes to my side, giving me a piece of vanilla cake and blushing furiously. My heart breaks at the sight. His beautiful chocolate eyes and his dirty blonde hair stir me. He reminds me of Liam. After the Republican French insurrection at 1832, I found the little guy on the streets on the brink of death. He was only 7 at the time and both his parents had been killed during the war. I don't know if it was his frail body dying, when I was an immortal being that even hunger couldn't slow down, or the piercing brown eyes daring death itself to steal his last breath, but something warmed my body. New feelings. Old ones long forgotten. I took him home with me without a second glance. At the time, I lived on Marquette Street, on the east side of Paris, north of the Seine River. Never in my wildest dreams would have I thought myself capable of that kind of selfless act. More so for a human. But maybe, deep down, I thought this little boy would feed some sort of hidden maternal need. The child was bright, a quick learner. I taught him how to read and to fight, but also manners to succeed in society. I didn't want for him to be an outsider, so I decided to create us both new identities as mother and son. He followed me in my travels, and with him I socialized more than I would have on my own. He always knew what I was. Nothing went unnoticed with him. I did my best to behave like a human in front of him, but a beast stays a beast. Even in disguise. You know, I like the real you better. He had told me nonchalantly one night over dinner. I don't know what you're talking about. I had feigned innocence but hadn't been able to hold back my smile. I wish I was stronger. He had murmured next, and I understood. If he had been stronger, he thought he could have saved his parents. But life is unfair, and if he had been stronger, he probably would have died in the war too. We talked a lot about his parents, how his mother used to sing for him and his father was a gunsmith. I had done some research and he had actually been a renowned one. When Liam grew up, we became brother and sister, and when he started his own family with the sweet Kaffa and I became a distant cousin. I didn't see him as much by then because we weren't alone anymore, and even though I trusted him to keep my secrets, I wasn't so sure about his newfound father-in-law. The old judge was always asking questions and suspected a lot of things. When it became apparent that he was older than me, we almost entirely cut ties, only meeting once a year and then once every 10 years. He kept sending me letters though, telling me about his life, how he became a lawyer to please his in-laws, how Catherine gave birth to 2 boys and a little girl, how they all healthily grew up and how happy they were. Liam lived a long and content life surrounded by his family, but each time I noticed the new wrinkles around his eyes, his graying hair, his shrinking body, his disappearing strength. And eventually he died, and that day I lost a part of my soul, the one that cared. I became the monster once more. The movement next to me brings me out of my memories. Still a little lost in my thoughts, I thank the pup and concentrate on my plate. I expected him to turn around and leave, but he surprises me as he sits beside me with his own plate. You know, my father is a fighter. He starts a conversation. Really, I decide to play along. Kids aren't judgmental like adults. It's easier to talk to them even if I need to watch my mouth more. He nods. Yes, one of the strongest. I smile. A kid always thinks his father is some superhero. I'm Hope. What's your name, Jordan? All right, Geordie. How old are you? My name is Jordan. He pouts and I laugh. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nelben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Sorry, Jordan. I'm 6, he answers with a bright teethy smile. I saw you climb the wall. He whispers in a tone of confidence. I forgot my bag and I wasn't supposed to leave my room. I murmur back. He starts to giggle when I wink at him. But I didn't see you. I point out. I was playing hide and seek behind a curtain on the 2nd floor. No one ever finds me there, he explains proudly. Suddenly Nate arrives with losers 1 and 2 on the other side of the room and I smell it instantly. The disgusting and stinking perfume all over him. Corey's scent. I see red and feel my canines elongate. My claws enclosing on the table's wood. I hear the crack and see the wooden chips fall from my hands. Everything around me is tinted in blood. Thankfully Corey isn't in the room right now, otherwise I would shredded her to pieces. I hear Jordan gasp beside me. I turn to him reflexively and he's staring at my eyes. Crap, I mumble, quickly closing them. I count to 10 and try to imagine anything I can think of my car. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nelben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. The vanilla cake. Long runs. But when it doesn't work and I can still only smell the stenches on Nate, I count to 20. I hear the small heart by my side beating fast and concentrate on that. I listen to him breathing. Tentatively. I open my eyes slightly and watch him. I forget everything else and concentrated on the chocolate eyes in front of me. I feel myself coming down. My eyes turning back to the usual yellow. Sorry about that. I apologize. Your eyes, he mouths without a sound. Can you keep it a secret? People don't like my eyes. I like your eyes. He frowns but nods repeatedly. I smile gently. Thank you. Me too. I feel the alpha approach and turn towards the pup even more to show him my back. Jordan watches over my shoulder, uncertain of what to do, and most of the conversations around us stop. From the corner of my eye see the beta of the pack, still a frown on his face. Nate is a few feet away by now and I wrinkle my nose at the stench in the air. His scent is spoiled by the other to heavy fake perfume on him. I don't like it one bit. So Jordan, do you want to become a fighter when you grow up? I hasten to ask when I hear him clear his throat behind me. The pup nods silently. What about becoming a doctor or a lawyer or an adventurer? Like Indiana Jones. I see his eyes brighten. I like Indiana Jones. And you can be a fighter and go around the world. I exclaim motivated. I won't need his bullwhip because I'm a wolf. But keep the hat. The hat is nice. I can feel Nate tense. His anger seeping off him. He doesn't like being ignored. I can't smiling even more. Hope. He tries to say calmly, but I hear the strain in his voice. However, talking to Jordan is the only thing keeping me from hunting down a certain blonde beauty and kicking Nate's ass. Do you want to hear about one of mine, something that happened to me? I ask the pup next. Not missing the growl in my back. The little guy nods. Completely forgetting his surroundings. I start my story. Someone asked me to find an old painting. The legend said it was a portrait of a Chinese emperor's wife from the 10th century. She was supposed to be a beautiful woman, and some even say that she was a descendant of Kitsune. Do you know what they look like? I ask, and he shakes his head. We can't transform into wolf right well. In Asia and into foxes. The pup nods to show me he is following me. How do you know if a wolf is strong? I ask. By his color. He whispers. I smile to encourage him to go on. If the wolf has a dark fur, then he's really powerful, but brown is less strong. That's right. But a kitsune can be many different colors. To know if the beast is strong, you need to count his tails. I see his brows shoot in surprise and continue. The stronger kitsune has 9 tails. That's a lot, he says in wonder. That's a lot. I agree. So of course I started my search in China, but no one could tell me where the painting was. Back then, there were a lot of wars and the winner usually took the loser's treasures. I found out that the Japanese army had stolen it from the emperor. I went to Japan next and read a lot of books. Everything I could find about that time, and after months of research I found an old piece of paper that said that pirates attacked their ship. Pirates, I hear him gasp. That's fun too. You know, I wink and his eyes widen. You are a pirate, he mouths. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfading patience, enthusiasm. I trail off with a smile. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfading patience, enthusiasm. The pirates were from a little island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The island wasn't easy to find because they lived in secrecy and they didn't map out all of them to hide all their treasures. Fortunately, I found an old fisherman that said that he could bring me there with his boat. So I organized an exploration. We left with 10 men. We traveled for 5 days. At the time, motors didn't exist. Damn it. I stopped mid-sentence, aware of my mistake. I don't think a pup would catch it, but the 20 pairs of ears around us definitely did. I mean, the ship was old and it didn't have a motor. We could only use the wind to move forward, so it took longer. We stopped on 3 different islands before finding the right one, and we found the treasure at the bottom of a cavern. No traps, Jordan asks. Disappointed. There were traps everywhere, I knew it, he exclaims. Otherwise it's not a real expedition. He adds like a true connoisseur. Spears and arrows shot out of the walls. Floors crumbled under our feet. Gigantic spiders attacked our skin. I listed. 5 men died. So what kind of treasure was it, Jared asks on my left. I have forgotten he was there, too engrossed in my story. Smart question, Pollux. I retort without looking at him and am greeted with a growl. To answer your question, we found gold, gemstones, rubies. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Sapphires, diamonds, and a lot of jewels. What was the name of the expedition, Nate asks. Not missing a beat. Excuse me, but when you're telling a story, do you like to be interrupted every 5 seconds? I demand, exasperated. Who asked them to join this conversation seriously? So, as I was saying, I start again. There were jewels and a lot of money, but the painting was nowhere to be found. The cave was really deep and seawater was filling it from under, which led me to think that the pirates used another entrance to hide the boat inside, and maybe there was another room with more treasures. I kept going until I found a room bigger than this hole. I showed the room around us. It was full of water, so deep we couldn't see the bottom, and in the middle of the water there was an earth bank with wooden chests. Dozens of them, encrusted with silver and shiny pearls. I should have been more careful, but I was so excited I didn't notice the skeletons of small animal at first. I swam the small distance and hurried to open the chest. There were paintings and old writings everywhere. I was looking for the painting of the Empress and didn't see the bubbles on the water coming closer. I paused for effect, when suddenly, out of nowhere appeared a gigantic monster with the body of a snake, humongous horns on his head and the beak of a bird filled with hundreds of enormous teeth. I shoot my hands up in the air to show Jordan just how big everything was. I hear him gasp and his tiny little hands grasp the edge of the table. It attacked me fast, plunging towards me with his entire body. I had to jump from side to side to avoid the blows, attacking me with his head and his tail at the same time. It hit me on the back of the head and I fell, rolled up to the edge of the water. I was falling. Oh no, I hear him whisper. I find it funny for him to be worried when I'm currently right in front of his eyes. Perfectly fine. Proof that I survived. I can feel the room tense and realize almost everyone is listening. Even the men next to me seem engrossed in the story. Seems like I got an audience. Then what happened, a girl asks in a small voice to tables away. I look at her and she freezes, her hand shooting to her mouth as if the words fell out of her mouth. Fear written all over her face. I said I didn't want to be interrupted. I smile gently at her and I see her ease up on her chair as I go on. My left foot was in the water. I opened my eyes but couldn't see the beast anymore. Everything was quiet. I describe it in an eerie tone. Suddenly I felt something grab my leg and pull me deeper into the water. So I started to panic. I don't remember it to be that scary. My wolf mocks me. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. So maybe I didn't panic and did it on purpose so they could grab it myself. But where's the fun in that? Jordan gets closer, patting my leg as if telling me that everything is going to be okay. I bring my hand over his. Luckily I had enough strength left in me to grab the concrete floor and dig my claws in it so the monster couldn't pull me to the bottom. I used everything I had to loosen its grasp of me, and when it let go and to the chests, looking for a weapon, it came back out and I was ready. With a big sword I sliced it into, I exclaimed triumphantly. I might have pulled it out of the water and chopped it with my claws, but who cares? I do. These are the legends of the great beast of the sun. This kind of monster would never be a threat. Shush, well. I hear the pup mumble and concentrate on him. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbert. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I hear faintly. May someone else coughs. Impossible, yet another one denies. I ignore it all because it's impossible for me to prove anything. It happened too long ago and I don't have any proof. At least not here in America. I kept a percentage of the artifacts of that expedition, as did all of the remaining men on that ship, that everything is safely stored up in Europe. And you did all that on your own. Without any help. Jared makes himself known in a mocking voice. I'll let you decide whether it's true or not, Gromit. I reply with a shrug when I'm faced with his smirk. Wipe that smile off his face. It's pissing me off. No, he's growing on me. Seriously. I roll my eyes. No, I'm just waiting for the right moment. That's incredible hope. You're really strong, Jordan asserts. Of course I am. I answer proudly. Want to know a secret? He nods. I motion for him to come closer so that he's the only one to hear what I say. I'm stronger than anyone in this room. He frowns at that and I don't miss the power suddenly emanating from the alpha behind me. Someone's eavesdropping. Even my dad, you're right. Except your dad. I reassure the boy. It seems to satisfy him as he stands up from his seat and quickly kisses my cheek before hurrying to another table where the man I earlier on the stairs in front of the house is sitting with who I suppose to be his mate. He is openly glaring at me, but I wave his way challenging lie. I quickly glance behind me when I don't feel a murderous intent anymore and am surprised to see Nate watching me with an amused smile on his face. I feel better now. My anger has finally settled down. I can say without a shred of doubt that everyone will safely sleep to tomorrow. Even the little blonde, blue-eyed devil. What I mouth, raising a brow at him. He points toward the door for me to follow him outside, but I'm not in the mood. No thank you. I'm tired, so I'm going to bed. There's a stench in the air. That's making me queasy. I tell him sweetly. I don't know which one I like better. Angry Nate or Happy Nate. Right now the death glare he's sending my way is enough to make my entire body shiver from pleasure. And his shiny eyes make everything harder. Nonetheless, I get up and walk away. The night is breezy, bringing with it the scents of the forest oak, Patterson, mulberry, Abies nobilis, Acacia dilbota, Acer burger yanum, Bechola pendula dale calica, Buxus sempervirens, Castanea sativa and so many others. The smell of a small river and the living creatures in the trees, owl, squirrel, hare, rodent, fox. There is no sound coming from it, and in that moment I know the prey is running from the big bad wolf. I listen to the silence. It's telling me more than any cry would. The absence of noise tells me that the hunting beast is agile and light on its paws. The absence of its scent that it's smart. the fear coming from the forest itself that it's powerful. I stay a while, just listening, hearing the faint crack of a twig, seeing a few flashes of white in the darkness, deep in the wood, smelling the wafts of Nate's fresh scent. His wolf is magnificent, like nothing I'd ever seen before, and I've seen a lot. The wolf is taller than the average, his muscles stronger, his jaws bigger, deadlier, more powerful, and his fur is so white it seems the moon herself is shining upon us. I close my eyes. After minutes go by, I finally stir myself away and get inside. I'm about to enter the main lobby when I hear someone whistle. I lazily look up to find a man lying lazily on a white couch in front of a huge screen, his face turned toward me. He's not bad looking, with his long dark hair falling and his brown eyes, and I can tell he works out, but I'm not interested. Not now. Not ever again. Not when I compares him or anyone else to Nate. He's too skinny, his hair too long, his eyes too dull, and everything about this man in front of me is average in comparison. What do we have here? The man asks seductively. I gag. Never seen ya before. He continues, walking towards me. Don't let him get close. My wolf growls. And you won't see me again. I reply calmly. He whistles again. I don't like that habit of his. What's your name, sexy? None of your business, ugly. This only wins me a diabolical smile. His indecent stare glazing over my body makes me shiver in discomfort. Like a predator, he gets closer and grabs my arm more forcefully than necessary. I asked you a question, he says threateningly. Am I supposed to be scared? I inquire with a smug smile. His grip tightens around my skin and I growl even though he's not hurting me. Even in a million years he couldn't hurt me. Cool little puppy. Show some respect, woman. His fingers snake to my nape and grab firmly at my hair. His putrid breath blowing over my face. How about we both have some fun? I close my eyes, disgusted at the thought. My skin burning unpleasantly. Look here, Quasimodo. I've been more than patient with you, but I think that's enough. I sigh as I grab his wrist with my other hand and twist it to make it re-hurt. Let go of me, you dirty mutt. He yells as he jumps and turns to make me let go of him, but I only increase the pressure on his arm. Tired and getting hungrier by the second, I hit him hard in the back of his leg, making him fall face first. The next moment he's yapping on the floor. My foot in the middle of his back as my hand is pulling at his arm in an awkward angle, almost dislocating it. With a little more force I'll tear it off his body entirely, but I'm still pondering on that. That would definitely teach him a lesson on how to address a lady, but on the other hand I probably would get in trouble for it. You, a lady, puh, Lise, my wolf cackles. What the hell is going on here? A voice resounds behind us. Help. Let go of him. Not before he apologizes. I see this. I jolt my hand up again to make it hurt a little more. Help. Nate warns as he gets closer. No, I answer, looking down with a sneer. Help. Let go of him now. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilburn. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. No, I was minding my own business and he came on to me. I won't be disrespected. Dream on. Crazy, the man on the floor breathes out between two cries. Gabe, apologize before you lose your arm. Mate orders, exasperated. He mumbles. I let go, still unsatisfied. I feel wronged and this wasn't an apology at all. I'll kill him. Not if I get my hands on him first. I just have to be patient. Who's this crazy woman? He asks, rubbing his arm. I glare at him. You weren't here today, so you don't know about Hope, but I won't allow this kind of behavior towards one of our guests again. Now go before I let her finish what she started. His sentence ends in a low growl and the mouse scurries away. I can see his imaginary tail between his legs. I want you to know that I never forget a face or a scent. I tell Gabe slowly. The implications crystal clear as he disappears in another room. I start to fidget now that I am alone with a very angry, very handsome Nate. What are you doing out of your room this late at night? Even if you're a guest, it's still dangerous to walk alone like this. I roll my eyes and it seems to irritate him further. As if I couldn't protect myself. Don't do that, he complains. In case you didn't notice, I was the one in control here. He was the one on the floor, not the other way around. I can take care of myself. Right, because you're stronger than anyone here. He mocks me, repeating my conversation from earlier with little Jordan. I shrug. I don't have the energy to argument this late at night. I'm tired. See you, I answer simply, walking towards the kitchens and away from this unbearable magnet of a man. Your room is that way, he informs me, jogging to catch up to me. I know. I grumble. Now go away. Where are you going? I'm hungry. I didn't get to hunt outside, so the freezer stocks will have to do for tonight. It's for your own protection. Rogues aren't allowed to turn in my territory, especially not this close to the pack house. Wait, how did you know I was out there? Didn't you see me? Do I ask at Snestampede? Of course I did. He replies instantly. I smile at his admission, so I'm not the only one being affected here. He notices me. I was hidden behind the trees. You were in plain sight. I enter the kitchens without answering him and go directly to the fridge. There's nothing edible in there. Seriously, I whine and close it harshly. Nothing, I ask, exasperated, directly looking into his eyes. I'm starving and nobody cares. Okay, so maybe I'm exaggerating a little. But how can the fridge of a house this big be that empty? Nate starts to laugh, his eyes brightening up, and I can't help the blush that creeps up my face. He turns around and heads to the cupboards. I follow suit. My sense of smell is overworking to catch any scent of food. After shuffling around, he hands me a box of crackers half empty. That's it. I weep and he rolls his eyes. I look at him in shock. He can do that too. But I can't concentrate on it long. I can feel my energy leaving me. Soon I'll become a corpse, said the immortal being. Just sit somewhere already and wait a minute. He complains. I observe him as he takes out a pan and tools, boiling water on the cooker and getting pasta out. Are you going to cook for me? I chalk out. What does it look like? I close the distance and sit on the kitchen counter with my crackers. His movements are fluid and precise. It feels almost as if he's dancing. I watch him move around, fascinated by the show. He's cooking for me. I'm elated at the thought. Interesting story you told earlier. He starts nonchalantly, stirring the pasta. Which emperor was its mart? Man, I don't seem to remember. He sighs out of patience and I keep munching on my biscuit to annoy him further. Name of the captain, now that I think about it. I never asked. I evade the question, feigning surprise at my own words. Name of the island never mapped out. He puts down his spatula and turns to me, his hips brushing my leg. There is no hope. Michael's currently living in New York. His stare is harsh, but I can only concentrate on the fact that we are touching each other at the moment. He's touching me. He's touching me. His hip is touching me. Oh my God, he's touching me. Will you shut up already? I'm blatantly watching his legs and not listening to a word he says. Slowly but firmly his right hand goes up to my jaw and forces me to look directly in his bright yellow eyes. Oh my God, his hand is on my face. For the love of the sun. Will you stop already? There is no hope. Michael's in New York. He repeats himself. I might have given another name. I stutter, still not in control of my thoughts. Which one? Don't remember. I'm always traveling. What about your work? Which name do you use then? Can't say. Attorney, client privilege. You're not even a lawyer, he growls, exasperated. Professional confidentiality. His left hand shoots to his hair and pulls at it, his eyes close to control his rising temper. Name of your parents? I don't know. I never knew them. He seems hesitant after hearing that but keeps asking questions anyway, his voice softening. Name of your old alpha? Don't have one. Don't remember it. Why won't you give me anything? He pouts and I find it cute. I told you my name. It's fake, no. And for your information, only a few people know it. You should feel honored right now. I admit. Are you some kind of royalty? He laughs. Maybe. Who knows? I play along. So many secrets. He whispers, his eyes traveling to my lips. Instinctively I lick them and his eyes start to shine. I hold my breath. With me on the counter, our faces are at the same height. His minty breath washes over my cheeks. Unlike earlier with Gabe, the sensations now are exquisite. Every inch of my skin is in flames. Delicious, tantalizing flames. It's as if someone ignited a warm fire all over my body. My heart starts to jump in my chest as I lean closer to relish every feeling. My arm grabs the front of his shirt of its own accord to pull him even closer, and I want to rip it from his chest. His lips are millimeters away from mine, and I'm agonizing. This is the most exciting moment of my life, and at the same time I can't wait to get past it and finally taste his mouth on mine. I feel my temperature rise and quickly close my eyes before he sees them flash at deep red bam. I jump out of my skin and scream, scaring myself more than anything. Nate's alpha blood kicks in, his body angling to protecting anyone from danger. It occurs me. His eyes are a dangerous yellow and his canines stick out of his mouth. He growls loudly as we both look around the kitchen to find a frozen Jared. His hands empty while the white lino floor is covered in food. His plate splattered around his feet. Back to stupid, soon to be dead crazy beta then? Jared, Nate asks in wonder. As soon as he realizes that no one is in immediate danger, his whole body relaxes. I didn't mean to intrude. I just came to. He stammers back, his eyes everywhere but on us. Right. Nate out, really listening. His eyes going from me to Jared and back to me. I have to go actually. Jared, would you mind accompanying Hope back to her room with her food? Yeah. Sure. He's gone before his beta answers, and I feel my body boil hotter than the water on the cooker. You just earned yourself the first place on my to kill list, Barto. I glare. How many people are on that list? I take the time to count on my fingers while he fills a plate with the pasta and adds home-cooked tomatoes he found in the fridge. My list has become quite exhaustive the last couple of decades. That much. He gulps before pulling himself together. I'm sure he felt my threat to his core, and something deep inside warned him not to cross me. However, as a beta he can't afford to show fear. Especially in front of a girl. And a rogue at that. I take the plate from him and sit on a stool. He mimics me and I roll my eyes. I can go back on my own. You don't need to babysit me. Aren't you supposed to be in bed by now? He asked me to stay, he says with a frown. I roll my eyes again. Your alpha just wanted an excuse to flee. Watch it, he warns, but I'm too aggravated to care. I stab at my food in anger. Look, I'm sorry I interrupted whatever this was. Are you trying to go down the list? I smirk. I'm not that bad. He mumbles. Of course you are. Ever since I won the race you've been on my case. I don't like rogues. Really never would have guessed. I mock, my tone full of sarcasm. They killed my mate. He whispers, and a pang of pain in my chest throws me off guard. That sucks. I should have been there for her. Protected her. I know from experience that sometimes things happen without a reason. Life is cruel. That's not helping. He laughs dryly. What happened? I inquire. We sent Strogs up north so the fighters went was going on. There was another team waiting east. They attacked the pack house and killed everyone they came across. Some stayed to fight in the forest and others went back, but... His voice dies down. We weren't fast enough. I was the first to arrive. It was insane. Blood everywhere. Corpses lying down in every direction. And the stench. Nate was home that day. He fought them alone. Killed them all. We found him covered in blood. There were no traces of white on him. He was completely drenched in red. He didn't recognize his own wolves. His eyes were crazy. Glazed. He was ready to bounce at anyone who would pose a threat. He was protecting the dead body of a small pup. I've never been so scared in my life, and we were on the same side. I guess it. His wolf was in complete control and he was protecting his pack, putting his life on the line. He's also a white wolf, my wolf reminds me. We lost our alpha to that day. He died in the forest. And your mate one of the firsts to die. Nothing we could have done. At least, she died quickly. I nod silently. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbe. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Since then we're more careful. I noticed. So, that's it. You know my sad, miserable story. Do you think you could like someone else? Really intrigued. Could Nate like me even though I'm not his mate? I don't know. But it won't be the same. She was my soulmate. She completed me, conned me. No one else can. Not like that. Sometimes I find it unfair that we can't choose who to love. I confess. What do you mean the moon knows who's meant for us? That's why she created the bond. But that's it, isn't it? Without the bond, do you think we wouldn't be as happy? Find someone we'd love. It's like she's telling us not to think on our own. What are you talking about? Of course, we only have one mate. My wolf growls, as if we don't have the right to choose. I continue nonetheless. He ponders on it for a while and I nip at my food, not hungry anymore. Do I have to fall in love with Nate, even though he will never love me back? Can't I make a different choice, take a different path? I don't know. He finally answers and glances my way. But Nate is waiting for his mate. He always will. He reminds me gently. I am relieved he's not judging me, only giving me the facts. It's engraved in our bones, right? I smile sadly. You'll find your mate to someday. And then you'll see. All of this will seem silly to you. I shake my head. My smile brighter at the thought that he's trying to comfort me. I won't, but it's okay. Why not? He frowns. It's a secret between the sun, the moon and me. I whisper in a tone of confidence. What? I'm going to bed. Thanks for the food. I interrupt him and run back to my room without a sound.